Hey gang, AV here. I don't know if you guys are aware, but there was a show that dropped on Netflix recently called the Toys That Made Us, and I've been eagerly anticipating this thing coming out for months, ever since I first heard about it, because it's something near and dear to my heart. I've been collecting toys for quite some time. I Transformers behind me. I got Marvel Legends in front of me. I got my G.I. Joes in the basement. My Star Wars in the basement. Um, I got a lot of toys in the house, and my wife tolerates it. She also has a little collection of her own. So, when I found out it was coming out right before Christmas, after things died down, her and I actually sat down and we watched the first 4 episodes that aired, and I'd like to give you my impression of them. I figure I'll do this kind of like the other reviews on my channel, where everything's going to be good, bad, the ugly. And kick things off, obviously the good. Just about everything. Honestly, we thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm a hardcore toy comic book nerd. I had some preconceived notions going in. I'll get to that in a minute. But for the most part, even though I knew quite a bit about the Star Wars and G.I. Joe specifically, I still learned a lot when I watched those 2 episodes as well. And believe it or not, even though I wasn't too keen on the Barbie and the Masters of the Universe, they were both great episodes. As a matter of fact, the Barbie episode was one of the better ones. So if you skipped it, you should do yourself a favor and go back and watch it, because there's an awful lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that happened that I had no idea about, and was actually very interesting and made for good TV, Great show. I mean, they presented everything very maturely, and it was very informative, and yet it was still very fun and entertaining to watch. I mean, good, very, very good start. Really, really looking forward to the next 4 episodes that land, and my wife, like I said, who isn't as big a toy fan as I am. I mean, she has a very, very impressive Yoda collection, but she's the buck pretty much stops there. She's not, loyal to any particular line or anything like that. She doesn't go after anything else that's Star Wars. She just likes Yoda, So she really didn't have a whole hell of a lot of reason to watch these shows, aside from the fact that I wanted to watch them. And yet, she enjoyed them every bit as much as I did. I mean, she loved every minute of it. I mean, they did an excellent job. Excellent job. The bad. Well, frankly, as a diehard collector, I would have liked to have seen where the toys are now. Like, as watching each episode, no matter how long they were, because some of them were like an hour, some of them were 50 minutes, no matter how long the episode was, it just felt, it felt like they stopped short, like it ended abruptly, because they gave you the origins of the toys, they gave you the, where they got started, where the inspirations came from, they told you, how they became as big as they were, and, they never bothered to tell you where they are now. They never bothered to tell you that, like Star Wars is still on shelves now. They never bothered to say Barbie's still on shelves now. They never bothered to say, Masters of the Universe can be ordered through Matty Collector. They never bothered to say G.I. Joe is hit or miss at Toys R Us. I mean, and God forbid, I mean, they never bothered to mention just how big of a cult following a lot of these toy lines have. I mean, they touched on it a little bit in the first episode with Star Wars and the whole collector's aspect of it, and they showed you, I forget his name, unfortunately, but the gentleman that has the largest Star Wars collection in the world. They showed you some of his stuff, but they didn't spend very much time with it, and they really didn't touch on it in any of the following episodes either for any of the other toy lines. So it was a little disappointing to see that it just seemed like they didn't follow through, I loved what I saw, but I wanted to see a little bit more, and I wanted to see stuff along those lines. I hope that's something they change, or have plans for in the future. Or who knows? You know, The Ugly. I hate to say it, but their intro. Every episode starts with a like a minute-long cartoon segment with a theme song. And the cartoon, I understand where they were going with it. I mean, they wanted to give it like a retro vibe, so they had like a theme song like a lot of the toy lines had back in the day, and they had cartoony animation. They're showing you adults with their toys and either taking them into space or going to the store and buying them up. And I understand where they were going with it, but the fact is that the presentation of the actual animation, while cartoony, it was actually kind of cheesy. And the theme song itself, while it was loud and boisterous, just like things were back in the 80s, it was pretty obnoxious and way over the top. And when you put cheesy animation with over-the-top music and stuff like that, it's almost unwatchable, frankly. Couldn't wait to skip it every time it came on. And unfortunately, like I said earlier, every episode was presented maturely, yet fun. It was very informative, yet entertaining. I mean, they did an excellent job with the interviews and keeping everything flowing. The intro itself actually detracts from that. It distracts everybody from that, and it actually, I hate to say it, it makes the show lose a little bit of its credibility, because a casual viewer is going to turn it on. They're going to see like the first minute and a half of the show, which is presented kind of, with a tongue-in-cheek vibe, and then that intro starts, they're going to turn it off. If they don't turn it off, it's probably because they got up to go do something and didn't have a chance to turn it off. Seriously, that intro, even though I'm sure you put a lot of time and effort into that, just like you did with the whole rest of the episode, the intro has got to go. It's got to change. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. But, in closing, those are the only two negative things I have to say about it. It is the intro and the fact that I would have liked to have seen a lot more of where the toys are now. And hear about, modern collectors and adult collectors and people that are keeping the lines alive at the companies, and how things have changed. Not only, like, for example, G.I. Joe, how it changed from a 12-inch figure to a 3 3/4-inch figure to now a 4-inch figure, and how they keep evolving. I mean, they basically stopped at the 3 3/4 line and never bothered with where it's at now. And that's a shame. I just think that there's more of a story to tell, and they need to tell it. But from what they have, aside from the intro, what they have is great, and I do highly recommend it. I think everybody should take the time to actually watch it. All right, let me know what you thought. Put down in the comments. Who knows? Maybe somebody, maybe word of this video will get out. Maybe people that actually put the show together will actually, watch this video and then check out the comments, and you can give your 2 cents about the show too. Let me know what you thought. This has been AV. If you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.